a big fat hello to everybody listening to this. We're going to be talking about bodies today. I'm Brandon Rogers. I'm here with Jonathan Hinman.
Yep.
And, we're in perfect shape. So we're totally qualified to talk about this because we love ideal. Not in perfect. Well, shape is a construct of society. What is perfect? What is in good shape? Or what is bad shape? That was bullshit, what I just said, because there is such a thing as healthy and unhealthy. But I definitely think that the image of the body and how it's perceived, what is attractive, what is unattractive, that is a metric system that we've invented as people.
Yeah,
and
100%.
And that is totally... I mean, the body weight has two roads parallel with each other. There's health and image. And I feel like...
blow my mind.
That's the thing. A lot of people need to hear this, especially if we have any Ethiopian listeners. Listen in.
It's okay to be emaciated.
Okay to be fat. Stop. Oh, God, this is horrible, but I'm leaving it in. Okay. And here's why. I think that image. I think we focus more on the image of it. We don't really think too much about if we're shaming someone to lose weight, that is because they look bad, not because they're unhealthy. That's what people say. They're like, you need to lose some weight. Really?
Right,
really?
Right. You're justifying your judgment and condescension and desire to bully.
Right.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah, and what you're doing
You really care about their weight? You care about their health? That's why you decide to say it like this?
That's why you're saying it, with doing that voice and walking like that. That doesn't have to come with it. No, you know what? I used to get picked on all the time when I was a kid for being. I was a heavy kid, and I have fluctuated a lot in my life. Not necessarily intentionally the first half of it, but I was I was a plump child when I was in middle school, and then I became nice and a bit fit in high school, and then I got fat in college. And I was one of those, what do they call the freshman 40? Or the freshman 5? Freshman
15.
15, yeah. Oh, God. Well, I gained about a freshman 50. Now, did I ever tell you how much I weighed at my heaviest?
But it was 160 when you were like...
When I was saying how much I weighed.
11?
When I was 11, yes, that was 160.
Okay.
Right now, I am 168. And when I was in college... I was 260 pounds.
Wow.
260 pounds. Actually, that was how much I weighed when I moved to Los Angeles. I remember that my roommate had a scale that she had bought from IKEA. She was very happy to, and I was afraid to stand on it because I was afraid I was A, going to break it, and B, it was a digital one, so I knew it was going to be exact with how shitty I was to myself. So, that was the first time I saw it. Actually, I stepped on the scale the first week I moved to LA. She got that scale. I stood on it, saw that 260, and I couldn't believe it. I was two people, and
or
people. Three, really
three very tiny children.
I was 25 babies.
I was 25.
I can't do the math here, but
I was 99 preemies.
Oh dear, and this much cum and eggs.
20 billion Siemens.
Oh my God. But yeah, I was a big boy a few times in my life. So I know how it feels to have, I'm sure we all do. We've all been fat at some point. Even like the skinniest people I know, they always, if you look at everyone's life in hindsight, they had a fat moment at some point. And and if you've grown up, I don't know how kids are in London or in Sydney, but if you grew up here in the Bay, in California, like I did, then, or just anywhere in North America, then at one point when you were heavier, you were picked on and you were made very aware that you were grotesque looking to the other, whoever's picking on you. And I feel like when I was a kid, people would make fun of me for my weight, and it's a snowball that you can't return because you can't tell a skinny kid the same thing. You can't shed off the weight and be like, oh, it's not like someone's making fun of your sweater and then you go home and you take off the sweater and you burn it.
Mom, I don't want that sweater anymore.
I don't want it. No, it's like, Mom, I don't want to be fat no more. It's like, well, sorry, you got a road ahead of you. No, it's like, it sucks. You cannot. It's hard to defend yourself when someone makes fun of something that's not just obvious to everyone, but true. If someone says you're fat and you are fat, it's like, what do you say back to that?
The first step, like, it deceives you into thinking it's valid because it's like, well, I guess I am larger than this person.
Right.
Like, but still fuck them for so many reasons.
You know what sucks is that, when I was a kid, I don't know if you'd say that I had body dysmorphia, but what's the difference between body dysmorphia and body dysmorphic disorder? Is it the same thing?
Yeah, I
I like dysmorphia.
Let's just
It
say
rolls
it
off the
is.
tongue nicer.
Yeah.
Anyways, when I had, I must have had it because I wasn't aware that I was fat. I really wasn't aware that I was fat until like kids started making fun of me for it at school. And then I was like, wow, I just thought I just looked the way I did. I knew I wasn't skinny, but I actually never really put my worth on a scale of fat or skinny being good or bad. I just figured I'm Brandon. This is how I dress. These are the clothes that fit me. This is the body that I have. This is how I look. This is just me. You don't question why.
You're pure.
You don't question why does my jaw look like? Why does my fingers look like that? Why that's just part of your body. I just never.
Or that they're too X, Y, Z. That this is too something.
Right. That there was an extreme that I was heading toward.
Right. You just accept. You're like, I look like this.
I just look like this. Right.
Right.
And so when the other kids started making fun of me, then I realized I'm ugly. Like I'm not
you
good.
Quote unquote realized.
I'm not good to look at. And I didn't, I quote unquote realize. Well, I just realized like, that the way I was coming off to other people was not how I thought I was. Mm-hmm. Now, is that a form of body dysmorphia? I maybe, but I feel like body dysmorphia really more so hones in on you have a defined image of what you do look like. When back then I didn't have an image of what I looked like. I had no image of what I looked like. Mm-hmm. I just knew that suddenly something about me was bad. How I looked, and I
think it's also kind of like a neurotic fixation on like one small thing and like a very obsessive over something and just like projecting the way you feel about it onto it and seeing it as your projection rather than something more objective.
Sorry, I was sipping from an iced coffee because I'm gay. But
you know how you do.
Right. Anyways, yes, and by the way, speaking of coffee, because I have half and half in my coffee, and half is a good source of lipids, which help the brain. And I just want to point out, since we're on the topic of fat today, there are good fats. And I know everyone says they're good fats, but why do they say there's good? You know that fats help you think? They help your brain. And that's why I recommend, I shouldn't recommend anything. I don't like being a source of influence, but I have...
Ideally, no one would listen to me. Right.
I have done the keto thing. I know everyone's doing the keto thing right now. Everyone's doing it. I go off and on the keto thing just because I don't know. I'm on it when I want to lose weight, but once right now, I'm happy where I am. I'm not on keto right now. But I'm still eating like nuts and berries and stuff like that. It's healthy foods that I'm
not
still
on
eating.
keto, but
I'm not on keto.
Yeah.
But when I am on keto, I love it because it's a diet that doesn't leave me feeling mentally fatigued. Because keto, as you don't know, it's basically no sugar, no grains. You're having it's high fat content, butter, cheese, whatever, so cream, like coffee cream. That's why I started talking about this. Right. Anyways, I think that it's very important that you don't starve yourself, at least from fats, because you will get to a point where, and I've starved myself, a lot of people I know here in LA have starved themselves at one point or another, or are currently in the process, and what it does is you just feel mentally fatigued. You feel, for lack of a better word, retarded. No, actually retarded. I'm not using it in an offensive context this time. You feel retarded. You feel slow. Your brain has retarded down to a different pace when you don't consume certain foods in your diet. And I'm not saying only eat fat, but fat. I don't know about you, but I notice a difference.
Totally.
When I have like bacon and I don't know, cheese, just stuff that vegans are probably
fats are good for the brain.
Their fats are good for the brain.
Yeah, and keto is like that. Having kind of your brain activity feeling taken care of, and then also just not having as many carbs and fluctuations in energy levels. Yeah. It actually felt really good. I was really impressed with that when I first did it. I was just like, wow, I can't believe my like constant level of energy versus like, wow, it fluctuates, up and down depending on when I've just eaten.
And that's a good point. The fluctuation is a very important thing because you're essentially playing a mind game with yourself in terms of cravings and and how your brain thinks and how your brain wants food. Your brain wants food sometimes before you even realize it, subconsciously, and then all of a sudden you're starving, and then you're doing. Maybe it's just me because I get high, but I think that having I don't know, having going on a diet, it's easy to lose weight. I think it's hard to keep it off because when I say it's easy to lose weight, I'm not saying healthily. If you just strictly want to lose weight, you starve yourself and do nothing but cardio and eat you're going to be retarded and weak and angry at everyone around you and a little depressed,
right.
But you will lose the weight. And
essentially it's simple,
but keeping it there, because now your brain is in this weird state where it's had you depleted it of all this. The first taste of sugar you get, your brain will react and you will just gorge. And then the next day, your brain is still reacting. Oh my God, I got sugar. I got to get more. I'm at a food source. I got to eat as much as I can because I've been starving for so long. And then you're just going to be hypnotized with this primal subconscious, part of your brain. It's just constantly, it's like a garbage disposal. You're just trying to suck up anything that has sugar or is satisfying. And then you get the weight right back. So ideally keeping the weight off.
Yeah. And it's also, we've talked about so many things and how like even when we're talking about video games, it's like your relationship with the things. So there's so much subconscious activity going on too with your relationship with food here. And so it's just like, like a little bit of sugar can not only act as a drug, chemically, but can also trigger so much mentally, and lots of things can mean.
You're basically creating, rush hour in your mind, or is it the opposite? Are you creating? I don't know. You're creating a different flow of traffic in your brain.
The movie,
rush hour. It basically becomes Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. But
awesome.
No, it's and I've been there, and I think a lot of people don't. I mean, this is a risky thing to talk about weight loss or body weight or body image to everyone, because everyone has their own opinion. People listening to this going, "Oh, that's not right."
Right, and now you're encouraging people.
Now I'm encouraging. I'm not encouraging you to do dick. I'm just saying my own experience. I have lost weight 1,000 times. I have gained weight 1,000 times. I know how my body is with things, but everyone's body is different. So I fucking hate it when people are like, you shouldn't feel this way. You shouldn't try this, or when they try and dispense advice on how I should lose weight, gain weight, how I should look, what size I should be. Because I'll tell you what.
Right. Our opinion is love yourself, accept yourself, and try to live a happy, healthy life.
Exactly. I mean, you hear like a lot of celebrities say that, and a lot of but I feel like a lot of people at home don't say that. And for the record, the reason why celebrities look the way they do, because my mom would always be like, "Oh my God, she used to say, why do these celebrities all look anorexic? Why? Because people like you sit on your fat ass from fucking bumfuck nowhere in your living room at 7 p.m. saying, "Oh wow, she needs to lose some weight. I can see her. Oh, she's gaining weight. Oh, she used to look good back when she did this movie, or he used to look good." You could tell. And then
the studios are like, "Well, we can't employ you.
We can't employ you.
Too many people feel that way about you."
Exactly. People are, you're going downhill. People are kind of, this other actor, she looks great. He looks fantastic.
We liked you better when you were different.
So you wonder why people in Hollywood are so fucking anorexic and so fucking weird. It's because of, I don't want to say you, but probably your parents or the fucking, most people in society, and I didn't used to think this until I started to blow up, and you read the comments and you could hear everyone just highlighting your weight. When I was 260, people were just like, "Wow, Brandon let himself go. Wow, Brandon," and that was all this stuff. Fat boy, you need to put down the burgers. Fat boy, fatty fat.
Jesus.
And then I lost all the weight, and as I was losing the weight, people were saying like, "Oh, congratulations." Once I got to the weight that I wanted, and for the record, the weight that I want to be at is not unhealthy for my height. I am not unhealthy, but because people were not used to what I looked like, they were saying, "You look anorexic. You look really thin." It's like if you had met me when I was this weight, you wouldn't say that. Mm-hmm. But because you used to know this balloon, I look like a twig now. And it's like, so now, it's on, and I don't get these comments really, because a lot of my subscribers, a lot of my viewers have, kind of joined my channel after I had lost the weight. So a lot of them don't know me as Fat Brandon as being the foundation of the timeline. But I still get comments being like, you look sick. You need to go, I'm worried about his health. And then they start having rumors like, does he have cancer? Does he have this? And it's like, I don't need that stuff going around. Like, I don't need people talking about that. And I don't. I'm perfectly healthy. I run every morning and I run almost every night. I try to. I hike every other day. Do you think someone who's unhealthy or feels weak would do all that?
I vomit 3 times a day.
Yeah, I do vomit, and the Coke does help with overall everything. It's a nice gloss over the situation. but no, seriously, like it's no matter what end of the spectrum you are, fat, skin, whatever. It's like you're always going to have a crowd of people who tell you that that's the wrong way, and just like we were talking about last time, I forget when we talked about this, but what people say, right when they're about to die, like the number one, when they did that study, people on their deathbed, the one thing that people most commonly regretted on their deathbed, looking back on their whole life, was that they wish they had not spent so much time trying to make other people happy. And I think that when when you're constantly hating yourself for how you look, then you're not only that, but when you're constantly, beating yourself up or starving yourself or trying to even gain weight, and when you're just beating up your body because you're ashamed of how it looks, perpetually. I mean,
right. It's interesting how many of like these topics and our conversations kind of like end up, one foundational element is like be yourself and don't let others project their value system onto you. Like find your own and live by that. Don't let someone tell you the way you should look.
I fucking hate that shit too. I don't know if it's because I'm gay or because I was raised in a Catholic household or because I grew up in a town where everyone was quite conforming. But conforming, is that even a word? Conformative. They conform amongst each other. Anyways, I don't know what the fucking reason is, but I have always had a heavy magnifying glass of shame about myself. I've always been very aware of when people find me displeasing, whether it's visually or how I act, how I sound, whatnot. People wonder why I'm so wild or crazy in the YouTube videos. It's because I had an awakening a few years ago, realizing that myself is the best person I can be. And so now I'm just totally the other direction. I'm making up for all the years that I had to be a Catholic boy or had to be a cowboy at my high school, or I had to be straight and have girlfriends. I had to, I'm fucking crazy now. And you're witnessing
extra
an explosion.
Gay, more gay than I should be.
I'm more gay. Oh my God, dicks and ass all the time. And no, but seriously, I am such a advocate for people being themselves, because I wish I had more people letting me know that in high school. I just posted a picture of myself in high school on Instagram. I was 16 years old. And I talked about the only I had great teachers in high school, but the only teacher I really learned a lot from, his name was Mark Cabasino. I posted about him in that post, and it's crazy because I didn't realize how many people went to Livermore High that follow me. Right. And people, not only that, but people who have or had him and are currently in his class. And this one girl, and I'm not going to apologize for this, but she says something like, "Oh wow, he's really weird. How can you like that?" And I got offended in the past when I was in
Cabasino was really weird.
Yeah, because she has his class, and I know she has a class because she said Cabby, and only his people who know him call him Cabby, and so I knew she wasn't. She's telling, or at least she knows who he is.
And don't refer to him as Cabby, pretending to be that.
Right. And she's I have a class, but he's really weird, and she's just like. She wasn't shit-talking him, but when I was in high school, everyone would shit-talk him. He was pretty much the Professor Snape of our high school. He had long black hair. He was not goth, but he was borderline. Every now and then he would wear like eyeliner to class. He was a punk rock guy. He worked. He
murdered the principal.
Right. Murdered the principal. It was a whole thing. But he was really into his work, and he was into like just music and literature. I remember he was just so into music and literature with a passion that I'd never seen a teacher have in my whole life, even since. And he was just upset. He would spend the night in the classroom grading papers, eating cereal with water because he couldn't afford milk, and like he was just he was. I can't quite describe him any further. You'd have to know him, but one of the students would always sort of talk. I'd hear them talking shit about him, and I would. Even in high school, I recognized this guy as like one of the only teachers who understood me, because he really did not just make me feel like my work was good, but I think he really did enjoy the stories I wrote, the short stories. And I didn't feel like I could write until I took his class. And then I was writing stuff outside the class, giving it to him because I knew he'd read it and give me feedback. And that feedback was so much to me. And so when I see when I would heard other kids making fun of him, I would get a little like, you guys just don't know him, or you think he's. And then I thought I saw a lot of myself in him, because I thought it was. I guess it just took me back to feeling like I was in high school having to defend him to just kids who didn't take the time to get to know him, and that really just bugs me. It makes I see, like I said, I see myself in him. When someone judges him or talks shit about him behind his back, that person, I might as well be listening to someone else doing that about me.
Right. And you're like, that was a very vulnerable time. I had a lot of issues with body image and being socially accepted and bullied and teased. And I remember the people who were there for me.
Middle school kids, they're just fucking pieces of shit. And a lot of middle school kids also. I think they're the ones who call out the body image the most because they have no concept of body image. All they know is that fat is funny, and if you're fat, then I get to laugh at you. That's a ticket for me to laugh at you.
It's one of the first ways of belittling someone that you understand.
Exactly. It's the first way you understand how to make someone feel small.
Right.
Ironically, but it's So when that fucks. I mean, if anyone listening to this is middle school age, if you fit the bill of who we're talking about, just know that when you make fun of someone for their body, they take that shit with them to the rest of their life, to their grandma's funeral. They take that with them to the grocery store, to their graduation. They take that with them everywhere they go. Every time they're feeling insecure, your voice is going to echo through their head saying, wow, hey there, Tubby. Wow, 160. Wow, it's like that's just always, and it sucks because I remember when I was in middle school, all 3 years of middle school, everywhere I went, I was so self-conscious about what I looked like. I didn't know how to lose weight. My parents were both fucking big, and I had no idea. They have no concept of how to lose weight,
right?
Because they're from the generation of the food.
You didn't even understand it as important,
right?
Exactly. Fundamentally, you just grew up with the set of assumptions,
right? And so I didn't know how to lose the weight. I didn't know how to make myself. But I didn't know. I knew Running is how I have to lose. Well, running sucks. Yeah, when you're a 13-year-old kid, you don't. I don't know, and I wasn't even eating a lot. My parents fed me the worst food. My parents fed me shit. They fed me shit. They fed me McDonald's. They fed me fucking Reese's Puffs and shit. It's just like my parents' only dream for me, it seemed, was for me to be a fucking diabetic. It's like, and so and I,
that's interesting. Like as an adult, or at any age, you have to find that Venn diagram. Like there's going to be some childhood foods that you're just like, oh, I just love those, and that will never change because I've grown up with them. Right. But you have to find like, what do I also love that is healthier and has that cross section of the Venn diagram there.
No, exactly.
What are the healthiest things I love to eat? Embrace those.
Embrace them, right? All right. You know what is something that is healthy that I love to eat? To throw some walnuts, blueberries, kale, and some other things that I don't know because it comes in a package and I don't know what else is in there. But I just throw them in a blender with some almond milk, and that's very delicious. That
actually sounds good. When kale is snuck into my meal, I enjoy it. But anytime I know kale's in there, I project the feeling of distaste. I'm like, no, the kale is going to taste bad right now.
Yeah, you're expecting, and then you're looking for the hints of kale within the flavors.
Yeah, and it really, there's no problem. It's just that I have a problem with kale.
I think the reason the kale is good for a lot of sweet stuff is that I think it's like the flavor of it brings out the sweetness in other flavors. I think
interesting
because it's not a sweet. It's like quite bitter.
I have really enjoyed kale in plenty of foods, and then it's only when I'm surprised. I'm like, oh. Yeah. No, what a great, interesting flavor that combined well with lots of others.
Right. I gotta tell you something.
Okay.
I fucking hate kale. I hate it.
Okay.
I don't like kale. I've had kale salads, and every time I order a kale salad, I think this is the one that'll win me over, and I'd rather wipe my ass with it. But that would be unfair to my ass.
Damn. Your ass needs to relax. Like it's too healthy.
I would like to talk about really quick, and not that I don't want to talk about my ass, but I just what the difference between health and image. There was I don't know. I feel like we're in this. Are we still in? Yeah, we're very much in the body positivity movement, right? I don't think that's gone anywhere. I think that came a few years ago, and it's just kind of stayed. And
I think it made some great strides forward a couple years ago, but it's still trending positive.
Yeah. And I think that body positivity is is something we should talk about because I think that everyone should feel really good in their own skin. Mm-hmm. I have friends who are heavier, and I had they are such a confident person, so comfortable in their own skin, you don't even see the weight. You know what I mean?
And it's just like you just see a person for the person that they are. For God's sake, can we please embrace that idea more every single day? Right. And it's like, the person can be whatever shape they want to be, especially in an environment that's just embracing of them. And it's like, it's up to you. You be whoever you want. And, instead of like making it a source of, of rebellion, resentment, self-hatred, like let's create a good, safe, positive environment for people just in general across the board, but especially for their personal journey with this.
Oh yeah, and like I said earlier, weight loss is it's an extremely. It's very individual to yourself.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about weight loss like it's just a one size fits all, for lack of a better expression, concept. You have weight loss books, so it's like you have weight loss, video. Everyone's going to have their own explanation of weight loss, and that's the scary thing also about asking someone for advice. It's you should always take the advice that you're given without. I guess
the judgment.
Yeah. It's people are always
going to know the difference between advice and judgment.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds like you should blank. It's like,
you listen for those connotations. Like, you really look unhealthy. You should lose.
Thank you for your concern.
It's like, thanks for caring. That's great. Do I look unhealthy? You just say I look unhealthy. You don't have to do the voice. It's, people, the difference between advice and judgment. For instance, my friend Rachel, different Rachel, told me I could hear you breathing. like she's like, are you okay? Like that was, but it wasn't like you're fucking fat. She was just like, you're out of breath sitting down. Like, are you all right? And I'm just like, I didn't notice that, but you're right. And then every time I was just like mouth breathing, just watching TV or going to the movies, something strenuous for someone my size, I would then notice it. I'd hear it. And I've had people just comment on nothing but the areas that I need working on. And I don't know.
Wow.
What's that?
So someone outside my window sneezed.
Oh, I heard it only through the headphones. Right. It sounded like a demon for a second.
Like, did you hear that?
Oh yeah. I hope that it was a demon with a positive image on his or her body.
Yeah, they feel good about who they are.
Yeah. But seriously, I think that it's important to love the way you look, but I think it's also very important to be healthy, because here's the truth, you guys. Like the number one isn't like cardiac or like people die from heart attacks.
Right. America has a problem with obesity. America does. And that's I think in no small part to the social environment and the way we treat obesity.
Right. I look at people. Just everyone. Literally look at a single person and then look at what they're eating. Everyone eats garbage. Everyone eats the worst food you could think of, and everyone doesn't do shit. And
healthy food costs more. This is a cost-effective capitalist country.
But you know what? It's like with healthy food, I'm not going to lie, healthy food does cost more. But I think there's smart ways around it. There are smart ways around it. And you know what? You all have fucking YouTube in your pocket. You can look up the easiest ways to find cheap, healthy food. When I was a kid, if we needed any information at all, we had to go to some bitch-ass place called the library. And now it's like, where's the best place to find a deal? How do I get cheapest? There's probably 60,000 tutorials on YouTube on how to shop on a budget for healthy food. But honestly, my grandparents were super poor, and they cooked every night, and the food they cooked was really healthy. Like they bought really healthy food for really cheap.
It can be done.
It can be done. I'm not going to get into that right now because there's a million ways, and everyone's going to have their own method on how to get healthy food for cheap.
Diet that works for you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I do want to encourage people to be healthy. And you know what the great thing is? The reason why I lost the weight, I will admit, when I lost the weight in 2015, because I've fluctuated a bit, but that was when I really dropped the weight. Mm-hmm. It was in 2015, 2016. It was for image because my channel was trying to take off. And I'll admit, I did do it because if I'm going to be famous, I want to be famous looking like this. And so I lost all the weight. But the reason I keep it off, because I no longer have this thrill of like, everyone's watching me, I better look good. I mean, obviously, you always I want to look my best. But the reason primarily why I keep it off is that I start to feel it when I start to gain a bit more weight. I feel a bit more fatigued. I feel like, and when I'm in a good head, like when I'm, in shape and when I'm eating healthy and I'm just having this routine of constant health going through, I feel so much better. I feel so much happier, and I think better. I perform better. I'm just a better conversationalist. I just find myself performing better in all aspects of life when I have a system, and it's important to have a system. That's why we were saying you binge lose weight and then you binge gain it back, and then it's like those extremes don't work because you're not working that into your lifestyle. When you're starving yourself, you can't starve yourself forever. You need to
that behavior pattern isn't the overall solution.
Right, exactly.
You need to find the long-term overall solution.
And I feel like just finding a diet and fitness plan, and I do think everyone should have a fitness plan. I don't care.
And being healthy feels so good. You're totally right. It's like you go through the day differently. Like you reach for objects differently. Like you walk to your car differently.
Right.
Like
everything is with a bit
everything.
more energy, a little bit more energy. And when I say fitness plan, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to go out and go for a run necessarily. There's like a trail that you like to walk. Anything that gets the blood going through your body. You do that first thing in the morning. You perform better the rest of the day. You have the blood. Tony Robbins says the same thing. Just get the blood flowing right when you wake up. Just boom, and you feel so much better. But the cool thing about it too, miraculously, is that it keeps the weight off. And while that makes you more healthy, the alternative perk is that you feel better about the way you look. And I truly do feel like no matter your size, if you just feel good about the way you look, whether that's what you're wearing or how you've done your hair or just how if you worked out that morning, if you didn't love yourself, regardless if you didn't do any of those things. I think that just feeling good about yourself takes you so much further, right? I mean, sometimes
there's so many good reasons.
Sometimes I will get ready in the morning at home with nowhere to be, and I will put on an outfit that I think looks nice. I'll do my hair in a way that I think looks good, and that's all after I went for a run in the morning. So I've worked out, I look and I feel good. I don't have anywhere to be, but I feel so much better about myself because I took a little extra effort to make myself a little healthier.
It's good for the body, good for the mind.
Yeah.
And it resonates as like part of a set of healthy choices that you start your day with.
Right. And when you start to see the results in the mirror, when you start to look in the mirror and you see, someone you want to be a little closer to what you want to look like, I don't know, it motivates you to go even further. Like, oh, wow, it's starting to work. All right, let's work out. We're going to get up extra early tomorrow and go for that jog even harder. Or we're going to, at least that's how I feel when I start to see results, not just with weight loss, editing film or anything. If anything, I start to see progress on anything. It's hard to believe in something that doesn't exist yet. It is hard to believe in something. So, and it's
miraculous to watch it come into existence. As you change, you're like, wow.
It's like an ultrasound. It's like a baby. It's like a 9, and it takes about, I want to say, if you do it healthily or steadily, it's a good, 6 to 9 months to get to where you want to be.
It takes time, but then when you look in the mirror, you see the change, and you see it in terms of the action that you've performed. What it is.
A lot of people were wondering how I lost the weight so fast because I did drop it quite quickly. I don't recommend doing it the way I did it because I did starve myself. I did run every day. And running when you're starving yourself feels like you are sprinting through the valley of the shadows of death. Like you are you feel like a skeleton and you have about as much energy as one. And so I was miserable for that. But then I gained a little bit back for Magic Funhouse, and then I lost it when I started going into season 2, and then throughout this whole period of my last 3 years of my career, I've slowly
right. Big up, big down, smaller up, smaller down, smaller.
Yeah, now I'm kind of at a point where it's like I know exactly how my body reacts to things. I know how my body likes to live. I know how long it takes for a binge day to show on my body. 2 days. I know how I know how my body works, and I think that it's important not to do what I did, but I think it's important to get to know your body because here I am at 30 fucking years old, still getting to know my body and how it likes to. Okay, my brain reacts like this when I have too much sugar. My brain reacts like this when I have too little sugar. My muscles feel like this when I do this. It's like I think...
And you don't have a 14-year-old body, and you don't have a 20-year-old body. It changes too. It's insane.
Right. So, I don't know. I got to tell you, I feel younger now than I ever have since I was like 7 or 8, 9, 10, something like a kid's age. Because a lot of my high school, my college years, I was just overweight, or I just wasn't active. And now I feel like I went to that trampoline park that we were talking about. Samuel, we went there. It was the one that I didn't invite you to. And we we were playing with kids, like they were, and they were running around, and I felt like I haven't had this much energy since I was their age. Like this tag game, we started a game of tag, and then all the kids joined in.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
We took the game back to my place, and but seriously, it was, and I knew I wouldn't have been able to enjoy my time there if I was out of shape, or even just in normal shape. Just because I've been doing a lot of cardio lately, I just felt like I was younger, and I don't know. I just recommend anyone to not just do cardio because it helps them lose weight, but because you just feel so much better. And and in case it wasn't clear, I want to just let everyone know, you are the only version of you, no matter what size you are. And know that whatever you're bringing to the table is something that no one else can bring to the table, and you should love yourself. I feel like this is the message in all of our videos, but it's all of our podcasts.
I know, but it gets reiterated in different ways.
Yes, that's
just
true.
Like, you can see the same essential story in a movie, but but you need to be retelling these lessons in a new context. And even in these topics, it's like, guess what the underlying important things of life are.
Right. And to my younger viewers who do get picked on a lot for being heavier, just know that person who's picking on you, and this comes from experience, they're going to gain weight. They're going to balloon up. Right. And their life is going to be shit compared to yours. You're going to have a wonderful life because you've gone through the hardships of knowing how much pain your body can take. And when you're an adult, you'll be a beautiful butterfly. However big, skinny, fat, small, whatever, you're Chinese or gay or whatever it is, you will be the best version of yourself because you already are.
On that note, I want to share one thing that... Yes. That I somehow learned at an early age. I think just moving around a lot, it kind of like restarted my perspective on body image and perception. But when I learned that, like back in the day, like the Venus de Milo.
Trap.
Yeah, basically. But when I learned that back in the day, classical images of beauty were always like incredibly pale, voluptuous women, because that was associated with the upper class lifestyle. It was like people who could afford to eat and were not tanned like a peasant.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I just looked at this and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe like this is the opposite of what we consider beautiful today. And it's just what we consider beautiful is just in terms of what we like can't have, what is least attainable. It's like the person who is able to buy all the healthy foods and spend tons of time at the gym and tan themselves all day is now what we consider beautiful. And 500 years ago, it was the person who could afford to eat enough food
and be pale and
to be in the sun or to be in the castle and not in the fucking sun. Yeah. So what the hell is a beauty standard? It's meaningless between the centuries.
It's fluid. Beauty standard is constantly shifting throughout our generations, I feel like.
Yeah, so fuck all that. Pay attention to the person. Yeah. And I think that rocked my world from a young age, and it was just like, well, all this body image stuff is mostly bullshit. It's just mostly stuck in whatever decade I'm growing up in, and then the next decade. And it's just in terms of that, not something larger.
Right. Think about, no pun intended, think about all of the larger people we've known, or confident people that, we all know someone who is very, very confident regardless of what they look like. Can you imagine if that person was super self-conscious to a point where they were being someone they weren't, so they could, feel a certain way about how they were perceived? We wouldn't love them nearly as much, and so I think that
what a bad thing to put them through. It's not right.
What a horrible thing for them to put themselves through. I think that everyone, I hope that most of you at least have this awakening to just be yourself and understand that the standards of which is normal or good or beautiful or whatever you're trying to be, is strictly set by the people around you. And trends have to start somewhere. I'm sure a lot of people, one of my favorite drag queens, Divine, made being fat and grotesque in the way that she speaks and acts and her vulgarity. She owned that, and there was no one doing that at that time. And that became a cool thing for drag to suddenly be this like nasty, unappealing, kind of glamorizing the filth of it almost. And that became a movement. And can you imagine if Divine was self-conscious and tried to be as straight-laced or whatever the fuck most people try to be? And we wouldn't have that. And so anyways, I think that, like I said, regardless of what size you are, just own it. And Because life is too short to be beating yourself up.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
Anyways, guys, I want to thank you all for listening. Jonathan, thank you so much
it's been a pleasure.
for being here with me. And ladies and gentlemen, next week I think we're going to be talking about YouTube holes, or just weird, little rabbit holes of YouTube videos that you've gone down. So if anyone has a story they want to share with us, please send it. Just weird YouTube, and we've all been there. 2 a.m, you're on YouTube, and you suddenly looking at rats fucking spiders or something like that. I don't know what it is, but let's hear what your stories are, and I'll judge your stories very, very harshly and make you feel. No, I'm just kidding. But please send it. Where can they send it to?
Email them at deepballswithbrandonrogers@gmail, or go ahead and DM the Insta page.
You can tell we're official because we do email. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week. Or we'll hear you next week. You'll hear us. Next week is when we're going to be back.
Yeah.
Right.